Good day, everyone. I am Miss Maraneth L. Malubag, a language and communication teacher in Marinduque State College, Torrijos campus. Okay, so I was asked by Ma'am Che to be the resource person for this class in order for me to discuss some important lessons that you must take seriously. Alright, and for today's topic, we will help you see and appreciate the importance of credentials by discussing some essential and initial points of one's career development. So, with that, throughout this session, everyone are expected to acquire these four learning objectives, which are first, everyone are expected to learn the strategies in writing a resume and an application letter. Second, be aware of the steps and etiquette in securing required documents. Third, understand the keys to a successful job interview. And lastly, appreciate the importance of credentials. Okay, so kanina pa ako credentials. Ano ba tong credential na to? So let's take a look at this. Credential brings you credibility. Okay, so from this, kung may credential ka daw, you have the quality na paniwalaan at pagkatiwalaan ng mga tao. So, ibig sabihin, mabigat pala tong credential na to. So, again, ano ang credential? Your credentials represent measurable accomplishments in your career, which include your degrees, licenses, certifications, and any awards you may have won. Okay? So it's also essential for several reasons, but the most important thing daw that credentials bring you is your credibility. So kung mapapansin niyo, magkadikit yung dalawang to, yung word na credibility at saka ng credential. So kailan ba natin kailangan ang credibility? Araw-araw, yes. Pero kailan natin to mas kailangan? Lalo na ng mga fresh grad na gusto na at ready nang harapin ang real life. Okay, so credibility is mostly needed when securing a job because every job seekers must effectively present their credentials. In every successful employee's career development, of course, all of them starts with the job application process. Okay, so think of your teachers. Dumaan din sila sa proseso na nagsulat sila ng resume nila, ng application letter nila, and also dumaan din sila doon sa process na nilalamig sila habang kinakabahan sila dahil nasa HR office sila at naghihintay ng turn nila para sa interview process. And you will surely undergo through the same process too. So these are the steps of job application. But of course, before proceeding with these 4 steps, you must take first the initial step, which is the process where you enter the job market, which I also consider as the crucial one. Bakit? Because through this process, kailangan mong itanong sa sarili mo na, ano ang gusto at kaya kong gawin? Anong career ang gusto kong tahakin? Ano ang career path na para talaga sa akin? In reality, there will also a certain point na ma-overwhelm ka sa happenings. You might not be sure on what path you should take. That's why you should always be wise in choosing a job that would best fit your skills and abilities. Okay, so first we will discuss the parts of the resume and the specific information that you should include in it. And second, we will introduce you to formal letter writing and job application process. The content will include important parts of the letter and the appropriate style you must use. And also, we will tackle on how to comply with the other requirements na hinihingi ng employer or ng company. Included dito yung filling out of application forms, yung visiting the concerned offices where the documents could be secured. And finally, we will cover the job interviewing process. Without further ado, let's begin with resume writing. Okay, so it is important to remember that your resume is a cornerstone of a successful job search. So, bakit nasabing importante or bakit nasabing cornerstone daw ang resume? because it may not be the sole decision-making piece when the employer decides whether the applicant should be hired or not, but this document, the resume, takes the applicant to the next step of application, which is the job interview, right? So, ang resume, ang tool kung i-consider ba ng employer na bigyan ka ng pagkakataon na mag-undergo sa job interview or not. Kaya you have to be serious in designing your own resume and make sure na maipepresent mo agad doon pa lang ang iyong skills, or else hindi na tayo dapat umasa na tatawagan tayo ng employer kung putyo-putyo lang ang sinabit nating resume. Before we go any further, it is important for us to talk about the different types of resumes. Okay, so if you've done reading the handout or the module that Ma'am Che had given you, you've probably seen these types of resumes. Okay, so first we have functional resume. So this is the resume that focuses more on your skills and a little bit less on the work experience. So to whom will this type of resume be effective? So, ang magiging effective user lang nito ay first, yung mga fresh graduates o yung mga working students na wala pang work experience or work history. Then second, those who have lapses in employment. Okay, so for example, are those who has no job for a couple of months or years. Okay, so next, those who are in the middle of career transition or those with diverse background with no clear career path. Okay, so for example, sa aking first job, for example so I've had a 1-year job experience as a call center agent. Then after a year, I spent months being a production or a factory worker. Then most recently, I was employed as a receptionist in a five-star hotel. Okay, so then now I am applying for a language teacher. Okay, so based on that, from the service sector, I went next to manufacturing, then hospitality management. Then now I'm applying for language teacher, which is papasok na ako sa academics. So can you see the transition? Medyo magulo yung career path. So persons with this kind of background must use this type of resume. Second, we have chronological resume. So this type of resume tends to focus most heavily on the work experience. So mga effective user naman ng ganitong type of resume ay those who have solid work history. So kapag sinabing solid, yung work experiences ay dapat aligned doon sa job na ina-applyan. So for example, I was applying for a teacher position. Then, ang work experience ko ay first tutor, then student teacher. So, aligned. So, it's good na gamitin ko tong chronological type of resume. Okay? So, next, we have the combination or targeted resume. So, this type of resume lets you detail both your skills and experience, while also backing this up with a chronological listing of your work history. Okay, so it was called combination because obviously, it tends to focus sa iyong skills and work history. Combined siya. Okay? So, targeted naman kasi flexible in nature, hahayaan ka ng ganitong type of resume na i-design yung resume mo based doon sa prospective job you are seeking. Free ka in every parts, from your objectives, qualifications, educational experiences, etc. Okay? So, this type is the most time-consuming one. Pero ito naman yung makakapag-generate ng best result. Kasi since it's customized, maipepresent mo effectively yung qualities and skills mo. You have to be careful lang kasi you need to be accurate as possible. Okay, so let's now move on to the anatomy of a resume and the things you must consider. Okay, so first we have contact information. In this section, you must consider that the name should be written in a large, bold font. Okay, so here in the picture given, which is my resume, you can observe that my name was written in a large, bold font. And it is in the green box para mas lalong ma-emphasize yung pangalan ko. And next, you must use your permanent address that can reliably receive mail. Okay? So lastly, use an appropriate personal email address. Here are some examples of appropriate and inappropriate addresses. Okay, so inappropriate, houtlegs59 at hotmail.com, chunkymonkey240 at yahoo.com, I hate work at aol.com. Okay, so pag binasa ba to, maganda ba siya sa pandinig? Sa appropriate email address naman, we have agnes.alderman@gmail.com, cbloomies@gmail.com, miguelguzman@gmail.com. Okay, so tip lang. In making an email address, gamitin nyo na lang yung pangalan ninyo. For example, marinetmalubag@gmail.com or malubagmarinette@gmail.com. Mas appropriate siyang basahin at mas appropriate pakinggan. Okay? So second, we have career objective. In this section, it includes a paragraph with these features. Okay, so first, it must only be about 1 to 2 sentences. It must tailor to the job you are applying for. Adjectives, verbs, and other focused keywords must be used that match qualifications for the sought position. And lastly, it must state your skills and experiences that would make you ideal for that position. Okay, so here in the given example, which is my career objective back then, so I have composed this career objective based doon sa in-applyan kong trabaho, which is Regional Consortium Project Assistant. So, related siya sa administrative works. Okay, so let's read. I am aiming to secure a challenging position to expand and utilize my skills, knowledge, and passion for managing and doing administrative functions. Moreover, I would like to work with other professionals to make a significant contribution to the success of institution. Okay, so let's check. My career objective back then was only 2 sentences. Okay? So, it was tailored based doon sa aking in-apply trabaho, which is checked. And there are adjectives and verbs and other focused keywords din para mag-match yung qualification ko doon sa position na ina-applyan ko. Okay? So, I have mentioned din some of my skills na appropriate doon sa job na ina-applyan ko. Okay, so check. In writing your work history, it consists of the job title, the company name, and of course, the time you have spent in that particular job. And of course, mahalaga rin ditong i-emphasize yung mga task na ginawa mo during that job. As you can see in the given examples, the applicant has outlined his or her experiences. Maganda to kasi malalaman ng employer or ng company na, may experience na pala siya sa ganitong task. Hindi na bago sa kanya to. May experience na siya. Like that. As you can also observe, they start with verb. Okay? Or action words. Pero it should be in the form of past tense. For example, scheduled and coordinated meetings, trained 2 administrative assistants, developed new filing and organizational practices, maintained at most discretion, managed travel and expense reports, and such. Moving on, we also have the section of educational background. Okay, so it consists of the school name and its location if you want to, the degree you've earned, your major, and the span you have spent in that particular educational level. And of course, you may also include your GPA if only it's higher than 3.0. Pero kung mas mababa sa 3.0, call for action or a token of appreciation by giving gratitude and such. Okay. So next we have complementary clause. So this is placed double spaced under the closing paragraph and serves as a farewell. Then lastly, we have the signature. So this consists of the name of the applicant. Okay. Okay, so full black is the most recommended format by many professionals in composing an application letter. Okay, so all elements in this format are left justified, as you can see in the picture. Okay, I have here a sample job application letter. So as you can observe in the inside address, the recipient's name was written through a large bold font. Then in the salutation part, you can also notice that the name was in bold font. In the body naman, in the first part, the purpose of the letter can be perceived. Then in the second and third paragraph, the elaboration was there. And also in the last paragraph, gratitude was given. And lastly, in the signature part, the name of the applicant was written in a large bold font. Okay, so we are now in the third topic, which is the filling out of application forms. Okay, so mahalaga natin itong pag-usapan kasi there are some employers who use job application forms as a screening tool to decide who they will interview. Okay, so ibig sabihin to, you can influence whether or not you eventually can hired by how you fill out the form. Here are some of my suggestions which you can employ to make the most of that opportunity. First, get ready. Bring your resume with you so you could readily have the needed informations. Next, fill out the form with care. Read the application form carefully and follow the instructions because some employers use forms to see how well you pay attention to detail and follow directions. Okay, so you must also write clearly and neatly. Next, go the distance. Okay, so fill out the additional comment section if there's one. It's your chance to provide more information about your skills and also your strengths and accomplishments. And of course, double check the form before you submit it. Make sure your spelling and grammar are correct. Okay, so ensure also that your answers are complete and the overall appearance of the form makes a good impression. And remember to sign the application form. And lastly, make the job application form your marketing tool. Why? Because the qualities that the most employers value are filling out a job application form neatly by hand takes patience and attention to details. So when your job application form is complete, accurate, and honest, you'll make the kind of first impression that can get you an interview. And that's good. Okay, so next topic, visiting concerned offices to secure required documents. Okay, so let's base this topic doon sa usual na hinihingi ng employers in job application, okay? First, we have Barangay Clearance. Okay, so this is one of the Philippine government-issued identification documents. It does not only prove the residency of a person, but it also proves that a person has no bad records in his or her respective barangay. And also, this clearance must be signed by the barangay captain and sealed with the barangay official seal. Okay, so there are things you must prepare upon requesting for a barangay clearance. So these are the followings. First, filled up application form which you may obtain from the barangay hall. Second is the recent cedula or the community tax certificate. And lastly, the application fees. which may vary depending on your barangay. Okay? Then here are the simple steps that can guide you in getting a barangay clearance. So first, go to the barangay hall and look for the barangay secretary. Politely inform him or her of your purpose and get ready for a short interview. Second, provide factual and accurate information to the questions. The information will be included in your request. Okay? So third, follow on what may the secretary asks you to do or provide something depending on the requirements set by the barangay in line with your request. Then lastly, submit the form and then pay for the processing fee. Okay, so next, a national police clearance essentially certifies that the holder has no criminal or any other derogatory record based on the Philippine National Police Database. Alright, so this document is valid for 6 months upon issuance. Then, to apply for a police clearance, you need to present 2 valid IDs. And this should be original and not photocopied, and not be expired also. And this should also bears the applicant's complete name, clear photo, and his or her signature. Then, the police clearance fee is 160 pesos. And lastly, there's also a way to apply for a police clearance online. You may visit this site, pnpclearance.ph. Okay? Then third, we have the mayor's clearance. Okay, so this clearance issues to individuals residing in the municipality. So these are the simple steps you must follow. Okay, so first, go to your respective municipal or city mayor's office. Then bring your police clearance and cedula. Then second, inform them that you want to get a mayor's clearance. Third, the secretary to the mayor will assist you. He or she will give you a form to fill up and instructions on how much and where to pay. So the payment is usually 20 pesos. Okay, so step 4, get back to the secretary after paying. He or she will tell you to claim your clearance on the next day. Then last step, if you want an authenticated copy, you'll have to submit a photocopy of your mayor's clearance and pay 20 pesos per copy. Then lastly, we have medical certificate. Okay, so this certificate is an accurate certificate from a physician which attests to the result of medical examination of yours. Okay, so these are the steps. First, go to an accredited clinic where you could get a medical certificate. Second, fill out medical examination form. Third, submit the filled out form. And then upon submission, the assistant or the nurse may give you existing medical record forms. Then present your medical records to the attending physician before undergoing medical assessment. Fourth step, undergo medical assessment. You must follow the instructions and answer the questions of the attending physician. Okay? So the last step, the nurse or the assistant will prepare the medical certificate based on the findings. So you must also pay the medical certificate fee as the requirement. Okay? So in general, in visiting the concerned offices to secure the required documents, you must be polite. You must be polite as you greet them, as you ask for favors and requests, as you ask questions, and of course, as you give gratitude to them. I hope I made it somehow clear. Okay? Now, let's move on to our last topic, which is the job interview. Okay, so here are the keys to a successful interview. First, know the details of the interview. You must determine who will interview you, what will be the interview all about, when will you undergo the interview, and where will the interview takes place, why does an interview needed, and how will the interview happen. Face-to-face interview ba, or phone call, or online interview, and such, okay? Second, know the interviewer. Okay, so you have to find out the person's name, his or her title, the type of work, and other information about him or her. So it is important because it will establish rapport between you and the interviewer that would allow a friendly conversation during the interview. Third, prepare answers to questions. You have to anticipate the possible questions so that you could practice answering them. And as you practice, make your answers clear as possible. And do not memorize your answer, please, okay? Next, be physically ready. Okay, so here, wearing business attire is necessary. And by that, your appearance will be neat and well groomed. You should also avoid heavy jewelries, cosmetics, and fragrances because that can be distracting. And of course, be sure to bring your documents, your resume, your references, your portfolio, pen, notebook, etc. Next, you also have to be mentally prepared, not only physically ready. You must know the details of the vacant position, okay? And you must also do research about the company. And of course, you must have a good sleep before the interview. Okay, sixth, set the interview in proper perspective. Okay, so remember that it is a type of communication between two participants. So you don't have to hesitate. So stay calm and focused. Okay, next, let the interviewer take the lead. Let the interviewer decide where you will sit and when to start the conversation and such, okay? And next, share your thoughts. If you do not speak or express your thoughts into words, the interviewer would not know what you are thinking. So you have to be responsive and an active participant. Second to the last, know how to divert question. Okay, so there are some questions kasi that are not necessary for the job. So if you find it too personal, you may politely ask, is it necessary for you to know that, or do I have to give that information? Okay, so say it politely. Okay. Lastly, do a follow-up. Okay, so here, take the initiative to write a thank you note to the interviewer. Okay? So here are the do's and don'ts in a job interview. Okay, so I truly hope that you will apply those. So to summarize our topic discussed, resume is the written summary of your job experience, education, and skills, while application letter is a formal letter that provides detailed information on why you are a qualified candidate for the job. Then, in securing the required documents that were asked by the employer or the company, you must politely and professionally visit the concerned offices for request and application. And lastly, job interview is a conversation between a job applicant and a representative of an employer, which is conducted to assess whether the applicant should be hired or not. Okay, so as we end our session, what you need to prepare is your resume, your application letter, and of course yourself for a job interview. Yes, you read it right and you heard it right. You will undergo a job interview. Ma'am Che will provide you further informations about this task, so be prepared, okay? Okay, so that's all for our session. I hope you have learned something from me, and I hope you could apply all those learnings as you start your career development in the future. Okay? So, again, thank you so much, and please keep safe. And I hope to see you in your job interview next week. Bye!